And then finally, final point that I'm going to make is that John gives a second reason. The first reason that he's writing his letter is so that you may have fellowship with us, and our fellowship is with God. And the second reason is kind of a selfish one, so that I may have joy. Now, I don't think selfish is a good word, because this is God's intention for you. He wants you to have joy, and this is how you will have joy. John's saying it. This is why I'm writing my letter. This is why I'm extending the invitation. This is why I'm sharing the good news with you, because I want my joy to be complete, and it won't be complete until I open my mouth and I put my pen down on the paper and I give of my life to other people. Then my joy is going to be complete. I can feel it get completed. Have you ever had that feeling where you just know, oh yeah, now it's complete? You know, this week, interesting thing happened. I'm on my walk around the neighborhood, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden, I'm walking down the street on my side of the road, and there's a boy coming the other way. Looks like a school boy. He's coming down. So the etiquette in our neighborhood is just go to your own side and don't bother anybody, you know. So I'm walking down, getting ready to pass him silently. I just assume he's got earphones in. He doesn't want to talk to me. None of the other young people do. And he starts veering out of his lane, heading straight toward me. We're like on a collision course. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I just, you know how it is when you realize somebody's coming for you? Like a lot of things happen in your mind. You know, you stop what you were thinking about and you start thinking, okay, here comes somebody. They're coming right at me. So I did that whole rearrangement, and I just, after about 3 or 4 decisions I made on the spot, I said, what can I do for you, young man? You know, he had a clipboard, so I knew what was coming. So he was a freshman on the high school track team, and he's selling cookies. So I was like, yes, I definitely want to buy some cookies, which I don't. But this is one of the ways that I extend the invitation, of course. So I'm filling out the stuff, and I said, I don't have to pay right now, do I? And he's like, yes, you do. I said, well, I can't. I don't have any money. And he goes, yes, you do. You can pay with your phone. I was like, oh, you're so young. I said, I don't have my phone. I didn't tell him that I don't have Apple Pay or any other Venmo or anything on there anyway. So he goes, well, I could walk to your house with you and get the money. I was like, okay. So we start walking down the street, and the first thing I asked him was about cross-country running and stuff, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, what are you doing? This is your chance. So after about 2 sentences about cross-country running, I said, do you believe in God? You are not going to believe what he said. He goes to me, no, I do not believe in God, but I can see that you believe in God and that you are anxious to tell me about it. Is that right? And I just laughed and I said, that is exactly right. And he goes, well, then please share with me. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say. 9th grader. So I knew I don't even have 10 minutes before we get to the house. I mean, I've got about 8 minutes before we're there. So I just quickly shared with him why it is so important and so wonderful to believe in God. I mean, I had like 8 minutes to tell why it is so important and so wonderful to believe in God. And then, oh, it's funny, as we're going too, he said, you know what, it just occurred to me, stranger danger. You're a stranger, I should call my mom. And he was like, boop, 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 boop. You know, Mom, I met a nice man, but I'm going to his house to get the money. Is that all right? And she's like, yeah, buddy, you can go. Just don't go in the house. And, it's like that kind of thing. So we're there outside the house. I give him the money, and he says, thank you for sharing. And that was it. And I went back inside, went back down to my desk, and I sat down. And guess what? A tsunami of joy went over my head. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know how good it feels when you actually get a chance to share with somebody and they actually, even if he's faking it, which I don't think he was, because he asked me a couple questions and he was from a family that doesn't believe. His mom and dad are both, he explained to me, they're both atheists, but he's more of an agnostic. I was like, oh my goodness. So for him, the jury's still out. He's kind of curious. If he did meet a nice man that was willing to talk to him about God, he does really want to hear. And I felt so full of joy that I got to be the one to tell him. And I just thought, I don't think that happens every day. That there's a nice man that tells you about why it's so important and so wonderful to believe in God. It's like a tsunami of joy just washed over my soul. So